and welcome to my new YouTube channel. Here is an interview with Scott Krokoff on my YouTube channel, even on Instagram. Welcome. Here is Scott Krokoff. Welcome. How are you today, Scott?
I'm good. It's a nice sunny day here in New York, and obviously in the morning, and we're in the throes of winter, but otherwise I'm doing well.
Yeah. Would you like to introduce yourself to the listeners in and my new YouTube channel?
Sure. So my name's Scott Krokoff. I'm a singer-songwriter from New York in the US, and I'm honored to be here.
Yeah.
And hello to you, Carl's listeners.
Yeah. Are you going on tour? I saw on Instagram.
No touring right now, due to COVID and everything. I do hope to do some touring again, maybe this summer. I'm starting to think, look into that. So maybe in the second half of the year, starting with the summer. In terms of going back to Europe, probably not until 2023 at the earliest.
Okay. I saw in the email you had the guitar on your.
I have a show coming up here locally.
Okay.
In New York, actually, at a really well-known place called Mercury Lounge, which I'm really excited about. I've been actually planning this for some time. It's being headlined by my very good friend Rory DeLasno, who's a really great up-and-coming singer-songwriter. And then for the second act, we have Josh Freeburn. I'm the first. So triple bill, actually a week from this coming Sunday, so almost less than a week away, February 6th. So if any of your listeners are in New York, we'd love to see you there.
Can we in Sweden see the show live?
No, unfortunately, there's no. This is not a live stream. Okay. This will not be live streamed. I don't think there'll be an online airing of this show. Okay. This one you have to be there in person.
Yeah, come to Sweden.
Yeah, I'd love to play in Sweden sometime, but I've never actually been to Sweden.
Okay, is he famous? The other singer-writer?
Say that again. I missed that.
Is he famous? The other singer-songwriter?
Is who a famous singer-songwriter?
The one who played in guitar. What's his name? The one who is Mo, who is going to play with you. What's his name?
Oh, you mean the other acts that I'm playing with?
Yeah.
Oh, they're up and coming, singer-songwriters. They're well known in our local New York City scene.
Is it also famous? Is it famous too?
Is it what?
Is it famous?
Is it what?
Is it famous in New York?
This place is famous. It's a very well-known venue.
What are you?
A lot of national acts play there. So this is a really big gig for us.
Oh. What are you up to in New York right now?
What am I up to now?
Yeah.
So as you know, I do live streams every Monday.
Yeah.
It's called One Up, One Down, One Cover.
Yeah.
And I do it on Instagram, 2:00 most of the time, Eastern time. And it's a 3-song live stream where I play one up original song, one down original, and then a cover. And up meaning could be upbeat, could be positive, doesn't have to be fast. Could have if it has a positive message that still counts as up. And then down could be slow, could be ballady, could be dark. There's a lot, a
Yeah.
lot of variations. And then occasionally I do maybe, an extra song if I'm in the mood and everyone's really having a good time. But it's been a lot of fun. Obviously, you've been there a lot, which I'm grateful for, and it's something I started during the pandemic, and I hope to continue doing it. I'm not doing it this Monday because my guitar is getting fixed, so I might move it to Wednesday this week. I don't know just yet.
How many guitars do you own?
How many?
Yeah.
I own one. I'm very simple when it comes to this. Probably, at least compared to most of my music friends, but I have one acoustic
Okay.
guitar.
Yeah.
I should have a second one. I'm looking to buy a second one because I really should, because that's like my bread and butter, playing acoustic guitar. But I have one acoustic.
Oh.
I have an electric.
Yeah.
And I have a bass. And those are my guitars.
Have you tried to live stream with electric guitar?
Have I tried playing it, you mean?
Yeah.
I used to play it much more often, long time ago. I've actually, I would like to play it more, but I don't have a ton of time in my hands these days, and I need to kind of get back into it. Playing an electric, even though it's the same strings and the same notes, it's a different way of playing.
Yeah.
And there really is.
We have many guitars in our job, and I can play E-N-A.
Oh yeah.
I can take some photos tomorrow and on this weekend I can show you our job.
Well, what you have? You said you have many guitars.
We have a music studio.
Oh yeah, that's very nice.
Yeah, so I can show my coach here. We have a music studio and we have a film studio here also.
What kind of studio in addition to music?
They have a band here called Grunne Media.
You have a band recording?
Yeah, they are nice. Very good. Yeah,
that's great.
How long had the pandemic affected you for the last few years?
How has it affected me?
Yeah.
Just with respect to music, or
for the music?
Yeah, I mean, like most musicians, I didn't play out as much as others because I work. I have a full-time job, so I'm kind of in a different place than a lot of other musicians. But I did play out a lot. And if I didn't play out myself, I would go out and network and connect with other musicians in the community. I also, with my friend Jeff Jacobs, we host a songwriter series in New York City called The Writers' Room, which was very active before the pandemic, but then we had to pause it.
Yeah.
Although we're starting to slowly bring it back. But, like a lot of people, like a lot of artists, you really couldn't play out much. This show this coming Sunday is my first band show in over 2 years. I've only played out a handful of times and only by myself, so this is a big moment in terms of getting back into it. But the pandemic is a good thing. Allowed me to do all these, live streams. I never did live streams, barely even knew what it was. And now, like a lot of musicians, I turned to that to kind of keep things going, but also to connect with new fans and stay in touch with old fans. And it's been great. It really is a whole new world. I mean, I do think as we slowly get out of the pandemic that I could foresee there being less live streams. I don't think it will disappear. I mean, I think that, it's great for people who don't, live near me, who are able to still see me play live. even if it's not in person. And while it's not the same as being, in a venue or in a, seeing someone play in person, because that's the best experience still, I think. But this is still really good. I mean, and it's a great way to connect with people. So that is something that was born out of the pandemic. And also, I definitely did some, I still stayed on top of, I did a lot of songwriting. I'm still working on some new stuff. So I wrote some new songs during the pandemic. And also I put together, like, I upgraded my site. I put together some new merch options. I did a video for the first time.
Yeah.
My video for Far Too Many Times, which was a great experience and something I've wanted to do for years. So that I'm so glad I got that done. And also released a few songs, so I was much more active than I initially expected to be. If anything, it kind of really pushed me to just keep things moving in a lot of different directions. And I think that's true with a lot of musicians. I think a lot of musicians wrote a lot during the pandemic. I think a lot of musicians learned how to record at home, learn how to live stream, did what they can to record and release new content. I was definitely influenced and motivated by a lot of my musical peers and seeing what they were doing. And I kind of, that helped motivate me to keep things going during all this.
I like the video in Far Too Many Times. Who is the person in the video?
Who's the person in the video?
Yeah.
So those, that was directed by Ben Fraternelli, and he did an amazing job.
Yeah, it's very good. It's a very good, super.
Yeah, thank you. No, I could not have been more pleased with it. It was an amazing experience to be a part of, and also just seeing the final product was even better. The couple were actors.
Okay, actors
that Ben recruited to be a part of this, and I was kind of like the observer through all of this. Seeing, the song is really about, just frankly about, really more about me, in the sense that, I'm so constantly, pushing myself with music, but yet that it's always easy to get down when things aren't going well. And some, my wife, would be my sounding board for everything, good and bad. And, sometimes when I let things get to me, she would sometimes say, you just need to, just change, be happy that you're doing music, and be, do it because you love it, and wherever it takes you, it takes you. And this is something I would sometimes not process. And because like most musicians, I'm very driven and have high expectations and goals. And, the business can be very brutal in that respect. It's you have to constantly really push yourself, and it's very easy to get discouraged, even if you're doing great. So sometimes, the theme Far Too Many Times is that, her telling me far too many times, just, change your attitude. It's not, life's not so bad. You have to, do things because you love it, and let the chips fall where they're going to fall.
Where did you record it, and how long did it take to record it?
The video?
Yeah.
The video took a day.
A day?
It took, I mean, the staging for it, the storyboard for it took a little, the concept and everything was done in advance. But the actual recording itself, the shooting, the filming, was over a day, a long day, but a day. Actually, it didn't even seem that long, but it was from like 9 a.m. till about 5 or 6 p.m.
Is it nearby your?
No. I went upstate New York, in New York, to film it.
Okay.
Well, as you know, I mean, I practice as a lawyer, so that's like my day job.
Okay.
Which you don't hear too often in the music world, but that's my life. And I have a family, so there's that. I have 2 young kids, and I'm married. So we have that's kind of my life, really. Just family responsibilities, school and such,
Mm.
and then and work, and then trying to get all my music in wherever I have time, which is not always an easy thing to do. Some weeks are easier than others. It all
Yeah.
depends.
Is it hard to be a lawyer in New York?
I'd say it's hard to be a lawyer anywhere, not just New York. But New York, it's a very intense and demanding profession.
Yeah. What kind of lawyer are you?
I used to be a tax lawyer.
Okay.
Now I do what's called like digital media and data privacy, which is a much more, it's like an up and coming area. It's very trendy and hot legal area these days, which is not a bad thing.
And a musician?
I know what you're asking. Yeah, it does influence my songwriting. Not every single song, mind you, but it does influence, in the sense that, that it's, my dream is always still to make it as a songwriter. Excuse me.
No problem.
My dream is always, that's still my dream to have it at some point a full-time music career. So there's definitely a bit of a, battling dynamic, if you will, but at the same time, it does allow me to, gives me the financial wherewithal to, to be able to invest and take the time to create these recordings and promote them like I want to. But at the same time, it definitely has a, a lot of my songs, Carl, a lot of my songs are about, still pursuing one's dreams, even in the face of adversity, even when there are obstacles in your way.
Yeah.
And, I have a bunch of songs like that. My Own Terms is one of them. But I have plenty others. So I'm working on a bunch of different songs. I've written a bunch of songs recently about my dad, because my dad passed away a couple of years ago, and he had bladder cancer, and kind of, made me think about our relationship in a bunch of ways, and I wrote a bunch of songs about it. I have another one I'm working on actually right now, that I'm really excited about, actually. All these actually really came out, these songs came out really great. I'm really pleased with them. So there's that one. I'm also, there's a couple of, I have like another like 10 to 12 songs that are in various stages of songwriting, that I'm working on as well.
Are you writing your own songs, or I'm very good at writing, so if you need help, I'm very good.
Well, thank you. Appreciate the offer. I usually I do write all my stuff myself. Every blue moon I do a co-write, but most of the time it's just me.
Okay. How long it takes to write a song for you?
How long? We could be here for a long time talking about that. I have some. So here's the thing with my songwriting process. The music for me comes pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can really be a burst of inspiration, and then I kind of keep playing it until I kind of have it down, or I might even sing it in my phone or something. But the music usually comes pretty quickly. And then if I'm missing like a piece, like a bridge or something, I might, still work through it a little bit or refine it. But I usually get that down pretty quick. The lyrics, on the other hand, could take me a while. When I say a while, it could take me weeks, which is a victory if it's weeks. It could take me months, and it could take me years. And in some cases, it really does take me years. I just, I'm very slow in that respect. I'm methodical, and I constantly, I have a good system for me, in the sense that I do crank out a bunch of songs a year, but in some cases it takes a long time for me to get the lyrics together. And it's not like I'm thinking about it 24/7. I do get into certain periods where I am thinking about it 24/7, usually when I'm kind of close to finishing it up. Um, and I just want to crank it out. But I'll have a couple ideas, I'll jot them down, and then it might be a while before I turn back to it, either because I was, working on something else, or I just got a little stuck, and I just felt like this is what I have for now, and I'll come back to it. And the reason I guess I go through that process, because I really take a lot of care in putting my lyrics together, and I want them to, stand out. I don't want to say the same thing twice. And even if I'm doing the same topic, I'd want to write it in a different way than I did it the last time. So I take a little time to go through all that. Now, it doesn't mean I'm always successful, but that's my goal.
How long did it take to write Far Too Many Times?
Far Too Many Times, I think, came out, was one of my quicker songs. I'd say it took I don't even remember how long. I'd say a few months.
That's good.
That didn't hang out too long. I actually was able to crank that out pretty quickly for me. Look, every now and then I might actually get a song done where I get the lyrics done super quick, like in a week or something, or in a matter of days. I've done that. It just doesn't happen that often for me. Usually it takes me a lot longer than that.
Okay. What will you tell me about song called? Oh, that's sorry, wrong. Can you tell me about a song called My Own Terms?
Yeah, My Own Terms is all about perseverance.
Yeah,
it's what I was talking about. It's about not giving up even when people doubt you. Like, not everyone, no matter, there's always going to be people who don't, think you're going to make it to something. Most people, your friends are going to support you, your family's going to support you, but even, amongst them or amongst other people, there might be people who doubt you. And I think, you have to not worry, you have to push that aside. And if you believe in something that strongly, but that you shouldn't give up on yourself. It's really what that song is about. It's about living life the way you want to live it.
yeah, it's a very good song too.
Thank you.
I guess you musician has somewhere between rock and American and country. What are you sources or inspiration?
So for me, Beatles are my all-time favorite. So they're always my source of inspiration, more than anyone else. I love a lot of other kinds of music, though. I'm a big Bruce Springsteen fan, for example. I love a lot of classic rock acts. I love acts like Fleetwood Mac, and I like folk singer songwriters like James Taylor and Paul Simon.
Yeah, right.
But I love like prog rock too. I love Genesis, for example, big fan. I love Rush. I love, all that kind of seeps into my songwriting in some way or another. Although, to your point, I do kind of have a mix of that rock, Americana, country. That's just kind of how it comes out. I love like country rock bands like the Eagles, for example. They've been a big influence. And there's so many, but I also I love pop music too. I love ABBA, for example. I'm a big fan of ABBA. I think they're geniuses. So I some 70s, 80s, and 90s pop in there come into play. And I do listen to new music. I listen to modern pop now. and the Ed Sheerans and Taylor Swifts and Shawn Mendes, people like that.
Have you been on a concert with ABBA?
Am I going to see the concert?
Or have you been on a concert?
Well, I can't. I couldn't be on it. They stopped playing.
Yeah, they stopped playing. But
they have a new album out.
yeah, I saw on TV that they're going to be on in London, a big concert.
Right, they're doing like a virtual concert. I don't know if I could see it. I will definitely want to. If there's a way to stream it, I'd love to hear more about that. I don't know. I thought you still had to be there in person, but I don't know all the specifics.
Go to London and see it there.
I think it's great though.
Yeah. At what age did you start playing guitar and writing songs, or you self-taught?
I started playing guitar, kind of dabbling in it, like towards the end of high school. But I didn't really start getting into it until college. So really, college is when I developed my guitar skills, or started to at least. And I started writing songs then too. I was in a band called Equinox with a bunch of my college friends, really starting right around my senior year.
Yeah.
And then we actually did a bunch of stuff for a while. It was great. We did, we recorded 3 albums and played a lot throughout the 90s into the early 2000s. And then from then on, I started doing stuff on my own.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever play with other musicians or are you so sorry? Sorry.
I do, just to answer that question, I do play with other musicians. A lot of shows I play by myself, but I also have a band that I play with, where I do occasional live shows, and these are the people who usually record with me as well. So like for this show coming up on Sunday, my bandmates are the people who play on my records.
Yeah,
play on my recordings.
Who is the most?
So I have usually I'm backed by electric guitar, bass, drums, piano, keyboards. My electric guitars can't make this show, but the rest of them will be there.
Are they coming on Sunday?
Yeah.
So they coming on live stream?
Well, this show Sunday is not going to be live stream.
Oh,
it's going to be, you have to be live in person. It's at a venue.
Live in person. Too bad I couldn't be in New York.
Yeah, I know. It would be nice to see you. Hopefully one day in Sweden I could play.
Yeah. Have you listened to another interview I do with Brian McKay?
Have I listened to?
I have interviewed another interview with Brian McKay in our podcast. He lives in New Jersey.
He lives in New York. What's his name? Brian McKay?
Yeah, you can Google him after.
Okay, yeah, I'll be happy to check him out.
He is a very good musician.
Yeah?
He plays guitar.
Cool. Yeah. I'll definitely check that out. Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah, no problem. Who is the most famous person you have played with, and do you still have contact with him or her?
Most famous I played with, well, I once opened for El King a bunch of years ago, this place called Brooklyn Bazaar, which recently closed down, I heard, which is sad to hear. But no, I haven't kept in touch with her. Someone who plays on some of my songs, Steve Holley, he's a famous drummer. He used to play with Paul McCartney. I just wasn't in a good frame of mind while I'm playing. Yeah, that wouldn't be fun.
Do you have any famous dream stage that you would like to play on?
Any famous stages I'd like to play?
Yeah.
Well, this one, which I'm really excited about. But in the future, nowhere in particular. I mean, I'd love to say Madison Square Garden. Who wouldn't say that? Sure. Why not?
Why not?
I'd love to play the Ryman one day in Nashville. That's a famous place.
Is it famous? Is it
yeah.
a famous? Is it?
But I honestly, I just want to play places where I know people want to come.
Is it outside?
What's that?
Is it outside?
No, that's inside.
Inside.
Yeah, that's inside. Yeah, there's not many places, I think, I mean, sure, as you move forward, there's certain venues you want that are a step up and you want to get those gigs 100%. Like there's a place called City Winery here that has a bunch of different locations throughout the US. That's a place I've been wanting to play at. And I hope to eventually.
But you have written that you would like to tell us about?
There's a bunch, I could talk about. I mean, Groundhog's one where that song took me 3 winters to write. That was about, well, the music I had, it just the winter, the lyrics I didn't have. And every winter I'd say, I got to finish this. And then I didn't. And then another year would pass and so on until I finally got it done. That song is about fear of confrontation. And where I kind of analogize that to the plight of the groundhog.
Yeah.
Like at least in the US, like with Groundhog Day, which is coming up very soon, actually this week. Mm-hmm. The story goes with, will the groundhog see his or her own shadow? And if so, will he or she be afraid of it? And if the groundhog runs back into the ground, it's another 6 weeks of winter. And if not, then spring's going to come earlier. So I kind of took that story and use that as like a metaphor about fear of confrontation. And that's something I've struggled with in my life. I've gotten a lot better at it, but much better than I used to be. But it's something that took work for me, a lot of work. Because I tend to be diplomatic with people. That's my nature. So it's harder for me to confront. So I use that kind of, as like it's like a metaphor, it's like a setting, for, writing about that. That's one. Scared Little Boy is kind of like a similar kind of song, that we're, it's not about confrontation per se. It's about, just when you go through, if you go through a lot of trauma when you're younger and people make fun of you and are hard on you and you have a tough time with it over, that could get built into your head and it could traumatize you. And you don't realize until years later that it did. And that things that would have, you didn't have the same confidence that you would have liked to have had, same assertiveness. And then over time, I use that as like a tale, like a cautionary tale, that what happens to someone if he or she goes through their lives and they're not able to work through that. But just because something happened when you're younger doesn't define you for the rest of your life. I mean, I wrote that as a song, like what happens if it does, like, and the caution there is to not let that happen.
Where did you record your songs and which studio and what town?
I record at my producer's studio, which is in Huntington Station, which is in Huntington, New York, called Parcheesi Recording Studios. My producer is Bob Stander, and I have had a very long relationship with him over, it's coming close to 20 years now. Crazy as that may seem. But yeah, we've, he's amazing, and we work really well together.
I saw a YouTube clip. Is it one who played the guitar or piano?
Bob plays usually on my recordings, usually plays bass.
Bass.
He also plays electric guitar on many of them, but not all of them. Teddy Kumpel plays electric guitar in a bunch. Paul Errico plays the keyboards. And Sean Murray plays the drums, either him or I've had Steve Holly play on drums a bunch of times.
Yeah, I saw a YouTube clip when you were on stage and a piano, and it was a crowd. I don't know the song, but I didn't remember exactly. Yeah, I think it was great.
Well, thank you.
What famous person would you take to a desert island and why?
Which famous person would I take to a desert island?
Yeah, and why?
No, I don't know. That's tough. I could pick so many.
Yeah.
You know, I'll just go with like McCartney or Springsteen. Why? You know, because I've been so heavily influenced by them. I think they'd be make for a very interesting conversation.
And your wife?
And my wife?
Yeah.
Oh, of course she'd come.
Yeah.
She wouldn't miss it.
Have you ever been starstruck or administration?
Have I ever been what?
Starstruck?
Starstruck?
Yeah.
I haven't met many celebrities over the course of my life. I know. I do know one time I was, you know, I was taking bass instruction for a while, and my teacher Patrick Pfeiffer, he had like a clinic, and he had some famous bassists come. One of whom was like Willie, from you know, used to play with Paul Schaefer and the, you know, Dave Letterman show on CBS. He also does the Fab Four, which is like this great Beatles cover band. And I could barely say hello. You know, I was not able to get at more than a few words, but that's really it. I haven't really I haven't had the opportunity to meet too many celebrities over the course of my life.
Maybe now on Sunday you have met a celebrity.
Who knows? We'll see.
Maybe. Name favorite records you like. Sorry. Name favorite records you would like to take to a desert island.
Favorite records I like to what?
Take to a desert island.
I could be here for a while. There's so many, and whatever I tell you right now, I'll probably think, oh, there's about 50 others I should be taking with me.
We can do
I mean, probably like half the Beatle record catalog I take. Some say half, I take them all, right? But how many do I get to take?
We can do number 2 and with my colleague. You can
I mean, I don't know. I would definitely take a Beatle record, if not multiple. I'd also take with me probably The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, because I think it's one of the greatest records of all time. There's about another 100 I'd want to take with me, depending on who the band is. I have, you know, I would have such difficulty doing this, which is why I always find this question supremely tough. I'd probably take, like, you know, Revolver and Abbey Road, amongst others.
Yeah. What project are you most proud of?
That's a good question. I mean, I'm proud of everything I've done.
Mm.
I really am. My proudest, I'd say far too many times. I came out great. I was very, very happy with how it came out. The recording and the video, very, very pleased. So I'll say that.
Yeah. Because we have 5 fast for Scott.
I'm ready. So you're gonna say like 2 things, and it's gonna be either or, and I pick one.
Exactly.
I got it.
Ray-Ban or Armani?
Armani.
Coffee or tea?
T.
Vinyl or Spotify?
That's a good one.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go with Spotify for now.
Guitar or piano?
That's another good one. I'll say guitar. Close though.
ABBA or Beatles?
What's the first piece?
ABBA.
Oh, you got some good ones here. I have
Yeah.
to go with the Beatles though.
Facebook or Instagram?
Instagram.
That's prosecutor or lawyer?
A lawyer. I'm not a prosecutor.
That's all for now.
But thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah, it was very good to talk with you.
And you.
Yeah.